Diamondvale. Shattered Memories. By Eric Hua. Chapter 1. Zenith and Nadir. Here lies the prosperous city of Zenith, a place powered by crystals known as geode stones. It has a lively marketplace where civilians gathered, but the most significant place would be the massive school in the heart of the city known as Diamondvale. Inside Diamondvale was where the great prodigal minds and warriors honed their skills. Within the walls of the school was a student in his early 20s, named Arnav, inside a secluded room training. He was deep in meditation until his focus was broken by the sound of someone entering the room. The person was the headmaster of the school, Headmaster Volis. Arnav bowed to show his respect, but Volis told him it was not necessary. Volis appeared to wish Arnav the best of luck during the exam that would occur in a few days. Arnav had the chance to go from his current emerald rank to the highest rank of all, diamond. This was a feat that hadn't been achieved in many years. Arnav thanked the headmaster, and when their conversation ended, Volis left the room to allow Arnav to return to his meditation. Further down the school halls were two police enforcers. One was an experienced veteran, while the other was a rookie known as Max. The seasoned officer was yelling, telling Max about the importance of being a police enforcer. Max kept replying with one-word monotone answers, which left his supervisor frustrated. He was ready to go into a full rant when he felt someone tapping his shoulder. It was Headmaster Volis, and the officer immediately apologized. Volis walked past the enforcer and stood in front of Max. He asked him two questions, his name and if he was willing to protect Diamondvale to the best of his abilities. Max looked directly into the headmaster's eyes and gave a firm answer to both questions. Volis smiled as he was pleased with Max's answer. He left the area, leaving the young enforcer all alone with his annoying supervisor. Below Zenith was the undercity known as Nadir. This city received the toxic residues produced from Zenith. Chemical waste can be found dripping out of the sewage pipes. There was also the dense fumes in the air that could affect one's mind. Training inside a run-down gym was one of Nadir's toughest characters. On the opposite side of the ring was a training robot set to the highest difficulty, Insanity. The robot began to show a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Then its eyes turned red and activated, signaling the battle simulation had begun. The girl attempted to strike first, but the robot analyzed the situation and countered by sliding, then delivering a right hook to her stomach. It continued with a fury of jabs directed at the girl's face, but she managed to block the incoming assault. However, the robot changed up its attack pattern by kneeing her gut. The attack had her winded temporarily, but suddenly the look in her eyes shifted to one of intense focus. The robot attacked, striking from the right, but the girl hopped back and then dashed forward to kick one of its target areas, awarding her some points. The robot re-engaged the battle, but the fight had swung in the girl's favor. Her unorthodox fighting style, which was a mix between dancing and martial arts, was too much for the training droid. The fighter was untouchable with her fancy footwork, as she kicked the robot at all the critical points. Eventually, the time limit of the battle expired and the robot ceased its assault. With the battle over, the screen showed a new high score had been achieved with the person's name, Myla. The screen then loaded the next 4 highest scores, all under her name. After cleaning up, Myla went to a local convenience store to pick up a few bottles of water and soda. She was about to approach the store counter to pay, but before she could, she saw the man running after a couple of girls who were about to leave. The 2 little girls were caught with unpaid chocolate bars in their pockets. The cashier threatened to have the girls arrested, but Myla threw some coins on the ground, asking if that was enough to cover everything. The sleazy store owner smiled as he picked up all the money and allowed them to leave. Myla approached the girls hoping to speak with them, but one of them, named Amrita, told Myla that she had a strict stranger danger policy, so Amrita left without warning. The other girl, Cece, thanked the stranger lady for paying for their chocolate before running away. Myla was about to ask the girl to wait up, but she felt a sudden pain in her head. The experience didn't last long, but it was enough that Myla lost sight of the girls. Thinking her pain was a result of overtraining, she headed home to rest. Home for Myla was not the typical house most would be accustomed to. Instead, she lived in an inn owned by the innkeeper known as Sahil. When she entered, she immediately threw him the money to pay for her rent. Sahil was shocked because normally he would have to pester her for the money. He was about to give her one of his witty remarks, but Mila was not having it on this night. Instead, she went directly to her room and fell asleep. Night had fallen on the skies of Zenith. Diamondvale had its facilities closed as the students that lived in the dorm all had a curfew to abide by. The only ones found in the halls in the night hours were the police enforcers. A mysterious figure with his face concealed hid on the rooftops of the school, surveying the movements of the officers before making his way to the targeted destination. In minutes, he bypassed all the officers and managed to enter inside undetected. He was now standing in front of a vault that required a passcode to enter. Confidently, he entered the 4-digit code, and in only one attempt, the pad lit up and the intruder waltzed through the vault. The room in which he entered was the archives of Diamondvale, where they kept all their current and historical documents. With the vast knowledge accumulated in the room, the world could be doomed if it were to fall into the wrong hands. Outside of the vault, a security guard passed by the keypad terminal and noticed an anomaly. He immediately called for backup but proceeded with caution into the archives. After the intruder had completed his mission, he was ready to leave. However, the campus guard attempted to sneak up on him. The intruder sidestepped the guard and threw him against one of the shelves. The intruder tried to leave, but reinforcement had arrived. There were 5 more security officers armed with crystal-powered staffs. The leader of the group ordered his team to attack simultaneously. As they got closer to the enemy, the mysterious fighter threw down some geode stones that created a blanket of smoke. All the guards were now separated and unable to see one another. When the smoke cleared, the intruder was the only one left standing with all the guards defeated. He thought he was clear to leave, but there was one last guard that appeared, Max. He rushed in with the crystal-charged bat in his hand, and what should have been a routine dodge for the enemy didn't happen. Instead, the mysterious man froze and took a hit. Max was ready to hit the man once more, but as his weapon got closer to the injured enemy, Max saw a symbol on the enemy's armor. The man had the letter D on his chest, and upon seeing it, Max froze for a brief period. The intruder took that opportunity to throw a crystal that exploded into a smoke screen. The enemy had escaped. Max was about to chase after the intruder, but he stopped as he felt his footstep on something. He looked down and picked up what looked to be an arrow. His mind began to drift off as he looked deeply at the arrow, but he snapped back to reality when he heard reinforcements approaching the scene. He guided them to where their injured allies were and assisted them. However, things would never be the same for Max after that evening. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had seen the symbol on the intruder's armor before.